Hello collectors and welcome to my review of NECA's Scunner from their Pacific Rim line. Originally a part of Series 4, NECA opted to release him as a standalone deluxe figure. But is this special treatment earned? Let's take a look and see whether or not he's worth adding into your collection. Scunner follows the basic body sculpt of the two kaiju before it, the battle-damaged Knifehead and Trespasser. The new parts used for Scunner absolutely help it to look like the CGI model in the movie. And the detailing for the new parts is awesome, as you would expect. Except the fact NECA took the easy way out for this one. And there's one main issue which is causing some to immediately dismiss this figure. First, the good. Scunner's head. The horns to the side are nice and pointy, and the paint, for the most part, it's nice and bright. You can even see the yellow dots for the eyes here. The only gripe about the head on mine is, well, there are some paint issues. There's a little bit more paint than there should be on some parts, such as the mouth right up over here by the jaw and right there for the eye. Just a little bit more than there needs to be. Here's the back of Scunner, which has this amazing brown paint to it. And the spikes, right up here, they're not the glossy black paint used on the last two kaiju. And I love that. It doesn't look cheap. Here's a look at Scunner's tail, and it has all of the needed spikes, and it's my favorite tail design of the Knifehead-like monsters. Looking at the hands, you can see that these are new parts. They feature 3 fingers, talons, whatever you'd prefer to call them. And they have a nice green wash to them. And you can even see this for the smaller hands, too. Now, the main body of Scunner. Yes, new parts, but this is the main issue I was talking about earlier. For the most part, it looks accurate to the CGI model. But these new parts here, this is nothing but a piece of rubber, which is hiding the main Knifehead body underneath it. As you can see there. That's right, instead of making new parts for Scunner, NECA gave him a poncho. Yay! Not. To balance this out though, the paint is for the most part pretty good. There's a subtle brown wash to the poncho, as you can clearly see right up here on the right shoulder, which brings out all the small cracks in it, and really, handling it in hand, you can clearly see the detailing. Another issue for me with not only Scunner, but all of the kaiju so far, would be all of the brightly colored lines on them. The paint is a bit of a hit or miss. Scunner's is broken up in parts. Right here, as you can see, this is an exemplar of it. And another issue is that NECA also chose to highlight the green lines on Scunner with a white paint. And in hand, there are some spots on Scunner which kind of look weird, which my camera is not exactly picking up. But I guess when on the shelf, the lines pop out a bit better. But I guess you could say that would be nitpicking on my part. Overall, in the looks department, Scunner's not too shabby. It has a bit of a bulky appearance most should appreciate, though the poncho is a bit of a drag. What you're seeing is what you're getting with Scunner. Since Scunner is using the same body that the Series 3 kaiju use, if you already have those, then you already know what to expect from Scunner. Except it'll be just a tad bit more limited. To begin with, for the bull's head, it's attached to the neck on a ball joint, and you can freely spin it around as much as you please. So have fun with that. And the jaw, it's on a basic hinge, but it doesn't really open that far, as you can see. Up, down, up, down. Hidden underneath this poncho, Scunner's shoulder configuration is a swivel hinge combo. As you can see here, swivels forward and back, and the hinge allows it to go up and down, though really you're fighting the poncho to get it up as high as you can, and reasonably speaking, without possibly damaging anything, that's about as high as I can get Scunner's arm to go. Of course, you can swivel it and bend it a little bit more if you want, in and out. Elbows, same deal as Series 3. They swivel, though mine is really stuck for some reason. Around, they swivel around, and then they bend on a hinge. Still just about as blocked as the Series 3 kaiju. The wrists, ball joints. Really, you're only going to get swivel action out of them since the hand's pretty bulky. And it sort of runs in with the forearm for the sculpt. But I guess that's good enough. Once again, like the Series 3 kaiju, the smaller arms where they're attached to the body, swivel hinge where the shoulder would be. So you're going to get relatively limited movement, especially because a little bit of the poncho blocks the arms from moving. And the smaller hands are attached on a ball joint. Again, you're only basically going to get swivel motion out of them, but you can get some use out of the ball joint. Scunner's torso is attached to his waist on a ball joint, so you can get full twisting and turning and rocking in any direction you would wish. The legs are attached to the body at the hips on a ball joint, so you can move them around as much as you'd like. The knees, same swivel hinge combo as used throughout Scunner, as you can see there, and the feet are on ball joints. Yay! Last but not least, the tail. Bendy wire. Though this is not as rigid as the Series 3 Kaiju are, for me at least. Again, be careful with this because in my experience with wire tails, it's not a matter of if they'll snap, it's a matter of when. So, like I said, Scunner, pretty much the same body as the Battle Damaged Knifehead and Trespasser. If you already have those, you know how it feels. Though unfortunately, like I said, Poncho blocks articulation just a bit. But really, if you get creative, you can have a lot of fun moving Scunner around. So, exactly how big is Scunner? Well, first up, here he is alongside some Ultra Act Kaiju. And here's some Monster Arts. Your average 6-inch scale Godzilla. The first two Pacific Rim Kaiju from NECA. Series 1 Gypsy Danger, and the ever so amazing Cherno Alpha. And finally, the Battle Damaged Knifehead and Trespasser. So as you can see, if you already have the two Series 3 Kaiju, you're going to be able to guess the right size for Scunner. He's big, but not overly big. So, should you buy Scunner now, skip it, or maybe wait for a sale? When it comes to the looks department, Scunner is pretty nice. There's a nice green wash to some of the parts of Scunner, and then on other parts, there's a brown wash. It definitely brings out all of the fine details. However, due to NECA's quality control, some parts on Scunner aren't painted exactly perfect, and that poncho on the chest and the shoulders, come on guys. But aside from that, it looks like Scunner. Scunner's articulation is about what you would expect from the average Kaiju in the Pacific Rim line from NECA. The articulation overall, you're not going to be able to get super crazy poses out of it, but for the price point, you're going to be able to get Scunner to move around just enough to your liking. What is a bit of a disappointment for me, though, is that NECA claims Scunner is the largest category for Kaiju, but he's about as big as the Kaiju they've released so far. Ho-hum. Overall, Scunner isn't a disappointment. Yes, a letdown in some areas, but he's my favorite Kaiju using the knifehead body, and that translates into NECA's figure as well. Poncho aside, if you like what you're seeing with Scunner, that's what you'll be getting. I recommend him to any Pacific Rim collector.